Hello, Spokane. Well, this is coming from Corbin Senior Activity Center. This is Claudia Auerkirk. And we are starting something new, something kind of exciting. This is where the cool kids play. And when we're cool kids, we got to constantly stay up on top of what's happening in our environment, what's changing for us as seniors, what's available to us as seniors as we age in place. And honestly, we're going to be touching on some subjects throughout the next few months. We'll have different guests with us to talk about things that are related to aging, to grief, to long-term care, to end-of-life issues. You're going to see several different companies come in, talk about some services that are available, but to really just really address some of the issues as we age. And has this been done before? Well, possibly. We certainly know that there are articles that are written. You can find information about, wellness programs, things like that. And I think that that's a wonderful thing. But the great thing about being able to do a podcast is that we can really drill down and address some of the issues that are facing us today, and to also explain to people what really senior centers do for our seniors. There is a stigma out there that it's where the old folks go to play or they go to die. And honestly, we are changing that face. We're changing the look of senior centers every single day. As we start to see that silver tsunami of seniors coming down the pike, they are, highly educated. They have more money. They're more tech savvy. They want more experiences. Lots of things that are going to change the face of how we present these programs. And so today we have with us two beautiful women who have two very unique stories as to how Corbin has touched them and changed their lives. And also talking about some of their skill set that might be able to resonate with some of us that are listening to the podcast. So we're going to start with Nancy Maupin. Nancy has been a member of ours for many, many years. You may recognize the name. She also owns Maupin Medicare, her and her son. We all know George, beloved George Maupin. But Nancy's been with us for quite some time, and she's also volunteered here for many, many years. And that experience has brought some unique introspective thoughts about how do you come and become a part of a senior center? What does that mean to others? And how is that going to resonate with me as a new senior that is possibly coming in and a little bit afraid, a little bit of deer in headlights because I don't know what to expect. So Nancy, I'm going to pass this over to you. And we certainly want to be able to hear your story about Corbin and get some of your feedback.
Well, my story started about, probably 20 years ago. I came to Corbin. I was a independent Medicare insurance agent, and I was simply looking for a place to go where seniors hung out. And I wasn't a senior myself at that time. And I looked at Corbin as more or less a marketing opportunity where I could, meet seniors and chat about Medicare, that sort of thing. But because of George, the director here at that time, a wonderful woman named Krista, everybody remembers Krista, would nab George into doing a lot of emceeing for Corbin events and different things she had. So George kind of became the go-to MC whenever Corbin had a charity event. So I got a little more involved that way. But it wasn't until after George passed and I found that I had a ton of time on my hands that I started looking for more volunteer, more community-oriented things I could do. So I kind of came back to Corbin. I'd been gone for a while because he had been sick and I was the caregiver, all that sort of thing. So I came back to Corbin about 2 years ago, and I just love it. It's a place you could come in no matter what time of the day, what mood you're in, whatever, and you can always get a cup of coffee. You can get a cookie. You can get conversation, and people are really, really delighted to see you. And just in the grieving process that follows when a spouse passes, it has helped me immensely. And from that standpoint, it's more a friendship thing now than anything else. It's seeing where I can fit in, seeing what I can do to help, and then just hanging out with the cool kids.
I love that, Nancy. I think that's just wonderful. And I know that as somebody who's grieving as well, that is a very, very difficult thing to go through. sometimes we tend to want to isolate. So it's really difficult to reach outside of ourselves to be around other people because we're kind of walking in a gray area that sometimes it seems like the world is moving past us and we are standing still.
Yep.
And I remember right after George had passed, that look that was so familiar to me, because I had that look too. And I thought, wow, this is profound that you actually decided to come in and make yourself busy, even though you were, a deer in headlights as far as how am I going to move forward past losing my husband, reinventing yourself, coming in as a new person. And I have to tell you, she's been absolutely integral to our programs here at Corbin, not only as a sponsor, because she does sponsor events so that people can come and attend, but just as one of our family members. I mean, I look forward to seeing her face and experiencing her joy. She does a lot with the Lions. She likes to serve, and so she's been very active in that, very active in sponsoring. And we are blessed because not only has she found a place to reinvent herself that is safe for her, but she's found family that love her, that she's found people that look forward to her. And if she doesn't show up because she's forgotten, because that has happened, I make a phone call and we giggle about it because, sometimes when we get older, we forget some things too.
You got to write it on the calendar.
Got to write it on the calendar. And that's all right because that's accepted. But that's just one of the stories that, Corbin has to share with people, is that it is a safe place to come to. It is a place that people can feel like they're welcomed. And you may not know anybody when you walk in the door, but I guarantee you when you leave, you will know somebody. We have the ability to get to know you a little bit, get you set up with somebody that might help you go out on a few of the outings just to kind of get yourself immersed in some of the things that are offered here at Corbin. And I think it's really important that, you have a place to be able to come feel like you can talk to people. We do offer some grief support. We certainly are well versed in it around here because of the age group. Most of the people have lost someone, whether it's a spouse, a child, a sister, a brother. So we're all well versed in it and are at different places on our journey, but certainly want to be able to be there to help support. And that brings us to, some other things that we should focus on in this podcast, and that certainly is our programming, the events that go on here, and how we're able to afford that programming. With me, I have Denise, and Denise has been actively working with us and with Nancy with the Alliance. She has been a huge supporter of me. I think sometimes she's also been an emotional support for me and truly a very, very dear friend that I would not have had I not been here. So I think Denise hears a lot of my dark secrets sometimes. Poor girl. I feel sorry for her. She knows when that phone call comes at 8 o'clock at night, like, oh, I better pick up. It's Claudia. She needs to talk. But it's great to know that I have somebody that I can run ideas by and, might have some better ideas than I have myself. But Denise has a unique story about what Corbin has done for her. So I'm going to pass this over to Denise, and you can get to know her. She's pretty special.
Thank you, Claudia, Nancy. It's a pleasure to be here, and I absolutely love Corbin. I started out, oh my goodness, probably 40 years ago as an escort. And so right now I'm approaching several decades later, and I've returned and couldn't be happier. I know when I first came back, I was sitting at the table and we were getting ready to go out on a day trip. I sat next to a woman and we sort of exchanged names, and I asked her a little bit about herself, and she said, I lost my husband several months ago, and it kind of goes in waves. Sometimes I just have to be with people, and so I call it Corbin, sign up for a day trip, because I know everyone will embrace me and be friendly, and I kind of get back on track. Another experience I had was I was in the boutique, and I'm sure Claudia will talk about our grand opening of the boutique. I was in the boutique, and a lady was in there trying on clothes, and I could hear her. She was just so jolly and full of laughter, and she said, I live out by Loon Lake, and when I come into Spokane, I always stop off at Corbin. I can stop in for lunch. I can run into the boutique. And she said it's just one of my main stops when I come in because I'm going to be with people that are like me. I'm going to find some great buys. I'm going to have a good lunch, and it just brightens my day. So there are just so many benefits to be part of Corbin. We have some ideas about um, oh, drawing more people together and just having fun. And this is where the cool kids play, and we do have fun.
Well, that's wonderful to hear those stories. And did you pick up on the longevity of these two women that are sitting here? This is a common thread that runs through Corbin. You see people that have been here for 15 to 20 years, continuing to serve. I am extremely blessed because of the volunteerism that takes place here. Denise asked me earlier when we were talking about this podcast to run some numbers by that is kind of impressive. So when you take a look at just volunteer hours alone to make the magic happen here at Corbin, it's about 1,400 hours a month that is given to Corbin to run our events, to run our kitchen, to cook food, to work our front desk, to work the boutique, to drive our buses. It's amazing when you think about the longevity of people and why they're here. And that common thread is they find that personally they are fulfilled because they're able to give back to their community. And that's what we're all about. You know, our mission to empower, to engage, is so incredibly important to where our direction is when we serve our seniors today. Because if we don't feel like we have a purpose, if we don't feel like we have a reason to wake up, then we don't. And we slowly pass away because of our inability to engage and enrich. We know that we can add longevity onto people's lives years through our wellness programs, through this just being able to not be isolated in our own selves, but to reach outside of ourselves. We can stave off dementia and Alzheimer's. It's so important to be able to have someone to talk with, have somebody to eat with. We know that people that have had poor nutrition can come here and get a full, well-balanced meal 4 days out of the week, and then have somebody to sit with and enjoy their food and have conversations. People tend to eat more when they are feeling the joy and feeling that they have somebody to eat with. They tend to eat more, which is really important as we age because, we just don't have those same desires. And so the need for food just isn't there. And so we don't eat as well. So the fact that we can offer these programs through, the generosity of our donors, it just is pretty mind-blowing. You wonder how senior centers survive. A lot of times people don't know the inner workings of senior centers. We do get a very, very small stipend from Parks and Rec. It equates to about $2,600 a month. That's $31,500 a year. That is a very, very small amount compared to some of the other senior centers here in Spokane. So we rely on our donations, on grants, and on all of our different programs to be able to keep our doors open to provide essential programs for our seniors as they age. It's much more than just playing cards. Don't you agree, ladies?
Oh, yeah.
I think that, when you walk in and you see our tap dancers dancing and you see ladies working in the kitchen and serving those that are having lunch, when you see a group of women coming together and sewing for the good of the cause. So either they're putting together quilts of valor for our veterans, or they're making quilts for our auctions, or they're making quilts to hang in their facilities when they go back home. Whatever that is, the beauty of watching these women create together is something that, always brings a smile to my heart. But lots of things to engage in. How do we make it with our programs? Well, we have several programs here, everything from our touring. Our tours bring in about $90,000 a year. In revenue dollars to be able to help run our center and to keep our programs alive. We have a boutique that obviously brings in some monies that equates to about $32,000 a year in just revenue from the boutique.
Can I throw in something about the boutique?
Absolutely.
The boutique here is absolutely spectacular. I don't think I buy clothes off the rack anymore.
I know I
No.
don't.
If I need something, I come to the boutique. They have absolutely fabulous clothes. Um, I don't mean this as a disrespect of goodwill in some of the thrift stores, but the quality of the clothes here is so much better. Very inexpensive. I have bought some very nice pieces of clothes here. The leather coat I just bought recently. I wouldn't have bought it for myself on
Right, at
off
that
the rack
price,
because it was
right?
too expensive. But it's beautiful. It was a deal. Please, when is the boutique opening again?
So we are still in the process of finishing that up. All the pieces are coming in as we speak. Some of it's being varnished as we speak. We had 2 people in there working yesterday to help close that up, probably looking at the end of the month.
Okay. No,
So
I highly recommend come to Corbin just to check out the boutique, and then you'll stay for the other good
absolutely.
stuff.
Isn't that fun? I have a cute story to tell too about the boutique because my entire closet is full of boutique. I kind of live here at Corbin, so I don't have time. Ask Brian. He's always coming up and yelling at me to, hey, what are you doing up there? Today, I wore a beautiful wool coat that I purchased here at the boutique. It would have been $150 on the rack. It is a name brand coat and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I wore it today, and my husband said, you bought a new coat, didn't you? Well, yes, I did, but I bought it secondhand at the boutique, and I'm just thrilled with it because it is a beautiful coat. And I would have had to pay that amount if I had done it in a store.
I think that the thing that fascinates me or that I really like about the boutique is the fact that you do get really good brand
We do.
name labels on some of the clothes up there.
And then you can have those unique finds
Yeah,
of little
yeah.
household items that can't find. So I know this is kind of a cute story about my friend who donated a bunch of stuff to the boutique. She came in several months later, saw the stuff on the shelf, bought it all back because she fell in love with it, and then realized it was her own stuff. And so I had to giggle about that because I went to her house and I'm like, why is this back in your china hutch? And she goes, well, I bought it back thinking it was so pretty and didn't realize that it was my original stuff. So that does happen at times. And so it makes me smile when I see people spend the money on some of the stuff that they've already donated, but it's happened on numerous occasions. So
I love that story, and I think I probably know the person that that happened to, and I think that's a kind of a great way to donate to Corbin. You see it in somebody else's shelf, and maybe you want it back in your house. Speaking of the boutique, we have a great fashionista as a member of Corbin, and that is Mary Gilmore.
Anthony's
No, Mary Gilmore is top of the line. And so Mary and I would kind of like to step in at times and invite people in, and Mary will do an assessment.
wow,
Yes, you didn't know this.
I love.
um, Mary and I did talk about it. I hope she's on board with this. I know she is because it's just so natural for her to stylize, to give you, let you know what the best colors are. And I've been a traveler. I'm happy to help you with some packing tips. So come and shop at the boutique and pack your bags and go on a tour with Corbin.
Love it. And we talk about a lot of things that go on here as far as the programming. We have several different types of dance, and we've got new programs that are coming in. In February, we have a gal that's coming to do taxes for everyone, which has been a difficult thing to nail somebody down to be able to do that. That way, people don't have to go to other senior centers to attend the AERP tax service. We're going to have it right in the building. We also have 2 EWU graduates that are published writers that are going to come in and teach a writing class and a poetry class. So that's coming. We have a gentleman that does legacy photographs. And what he does is he tells stories and puts that to music. And so if you have a particular story that you want to memorialize, and then he will take and gather pictures and put all that to music and tell the story of your loved one. He is also offering a class starting next week on Tuesday to refurbish a photo that you would like to have refurbished. If you need more done, he'd be more than happy to do it. But I love Sean. This is such a neat thing that he's going to do for us. His work is absolutely exquisite. It's beautiful. You may have seen some of these new QR codes that are put on gravestones, and you go and you put your phone over the gravestone, and all
Wow.
of a sudden that person comes alive. I thought about this for
Oh.
George. I really did.
Wow. I don't think
Um,
they'd allow it at the VA though.
Maybe, I don't know. We may
Wow.
find out. That might be something we need to find out. So that's another program that's being offered. We have our Monday night dance that goes from 7 to 9. That's a social dance. You don't have to have a partner. There is always going to be somebody there to dance with you. We offer coffee and treats, and you get to listen to TNT on Tuesdays. Starting this month, actually, we are going to be doing a dance from 1 to 3. There's going to be a rotation of bands, so a different band each week. And where the bar is going to be open, the boutique will be open, and you'll be able to come and have lunch and then just head right out to the dance floor. So we're really excited about some of those classes. We have another yoga instructor that is coming on board. She's darling. Her name is Renee. And Renee also happens to be a belly dancer as well. And so she has offered to possibly teach some belly dancing classes as well. So, what a great way to get out, meet people, move your body. We have a sail program that deals with your balance. Of course, we have the tap grandmas that are absolutely amazing, and tap grandmas are also open to tap grandpas. So we do have one
Wow.
tap
Yeah.
grandpa, and he loves it. He couldn't tap because his knees were killing him, but he does the music for the ladies, and he does a great job. He also happens to be the person who runs our grief support group. And you will love Bob. Bob's a sweetheart. And so, but lots of fun. You walk in, you feel the vibrancy. This is very different than most senior centers because there is a vibrancy here. And I want to talk to that magic a little bit. So when I sit between these two very accomplished women, when I talk about the magic of Corbin, it's what Nancy brings to the table. It's her, when she walks in, it makes me smile when I see her. It makes other people smile when I see her. When Denise is here, it just brings that excitement that, she's here to serve. And that's really cool because you get that infectious spirit. You see the same faces, so you feel like you know people. I love the stories when I hear people say they're coming from other senior centers and wow, why is this so different? The difference is we have great employees, but the difference is it's the people. It's the magic of what they bring to the table. It's the hellos and the hugs. It's the support when they know you're feeling a little bit blue. It's let me get that for you. Let me fix a plate for you. Would you like more coffee? Come join me. Come sit at my table and let's have a chat. Those are things that are really important to be able to feed our soul. And it is unique to Corbin. And unless you come in and experience it, it's hard to even explain.
I heard an interesting statistic recently. I think it was on NPR, and if my memory serves me correctly, which it doesn't do a lot lately, but the statistic did come from the National Institute of Health, and it said that 40% of our senior population age 65 and older suffers from some degree of loneliness.
Yes.
And isolation is now in the top three issues affecting so many seniors. The other two would be more medically related issues like diabetes and high blood pressure, that sort of thing.
Wow.
But loneliness, and a lot of it has been exacerbated, was exacerbated during the COVID epidemic and all of that. But loneliness is a huge, serious problem among our senior community. I know I moved to Spokane 30 years ago. All my family lives back east. My siblings, my parents are gone, but my siblings and all my nieces and nephews. And I have one son, William, and we are it. We are a lonely little unit of two out here in Spokane. Sure, I have friends, that sort of thing, but that that family connection and everything. It's still, yeah, and a lot of times I don't want to be a burden on friends. I don't want to just appear at their dinner table all the time. I mean, wear out your welcome that way. But I think what Corbin does, or senior centers across the board, strive to fill in that loneliness. When you're feeling lonely, what can you do? Don't sit in your house and feel sorry for yourself. And I clean. I have the cleanest house now I've ever had in my life, because when I'm lonely, I clean. Get out and do something. And just here at Corbin, locally in Spokane, come here on a Monday or a Tuesday when the ladies are serving their lunch. Maybe stick around if it's the day that tap grandmas are here. That'll lift your spirits. All that thunder. It's like thundering hooves, and they're tapping, and they're just so full of life. And they're senior citizens for the most part. They put me to shame because they're out there tapping their little hearts out. Several of them have their oxygen tanks with them. It is a sight to see. So please come to Corbin. There's a lot going on here. And Monday and Tuesdays would be a good time to start if you haven't been here before, because you will get served a wonderful lunch. And you can just hang out and meet people.
I got to tell you, the lunch is out of this world. We have the most wonderful Chef Paula, and the price is unbelievable. You can come for, oh my goodness, $5.
It's the best salad bar in town.
It is the best salad bar. And, if somebody comes in and they're a little bit short of, we're not going to turn you away. We not only feed the body, but we feed the soul and the spirit. So that is probably, I guess my message is that if you want to feel fulfilled, if you're a senior, you'll never think you're a senior, because this is where the cool kids play. But you will come and eliminate that sense of loneliness.
Sure.
In fact, this has been a world epidemic, where Australia, the UK, and the United States are addressing the issue of loneliness. And as we age, we're all going to age. We want to age with those that are like us, and still have a lot of kick left in their life, and want to have fun.
Yeah, it's funny she says that about loneliness. Certainly, coming from the long-term care end of things, I certainly experienced what COVID did to seniors. When everybody else was taking their masks off, we were still having to be in full regalia, serving our seniors. And yes, we were still seeing large deaths in our facility. Very difficult. And to see the after effects of that still linger today. There was a statistic that Denise actually gave me that said loneliness equates to a pack of cigarettes a day. Can you imagine a pack of cigarettes a day? So if we can combat that by being able to come to a center, whether it's Corbin or it's another community center, get involved, get yourself involved. There's so much to learn. There's opportunity to continue to educate yourself. There's opportunity to help you. That's one of the biggest things. I was telling the ladies this morning that 80% of my position here is social work. And so I get people connected to services. I help with food insecurities. I've helped with housing. I've gotten people signed up with Medicaid. I have gotten people set up to be able to find situations where they can move their loved one to. So just yesterday, I received a phone call from a daughter who was concerned about her mother. I was able to get them connected up with Care Patrol. Care Patrol will go out to their home, doesn't cost the client a thing, and they'll evaluate and find out what the needs are, and then find them a suitable environment that's going to work for both mom and daughter, allowing that person to still have the dignity to live her life. These are the kinds of things that we can help you with here. We talked about our food program. Just this year alone, we have fed over 9,300 families. And that may not seem like a lot, but I'll tell you, it's a lot of food going outside our doors. And we do that for a very good reason. We want people to be able to go home and not be hungry. We want them to be able to go home, afford their medications, and still be able to have dinner that night. That's the reality of some of our seniors because of their fixed incomes. We have even extended that program to Saturdays. So at noon on Saturday, come out and meet Guy in the parking lot. Nicest guy. He comes in, brings food. He gives it all away until the last thing is gone. And so if you're in need of food on a Saturday, please let us know. Guy will take care of you. But we do have food programs Monday through Thursday. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, it is Meals on Wheels, but we do provide our salad bar, which is open all 4 days. So you get to come in, have a meal, have salad, have soup, dessert, coffee, iced tea or lemonade. And it's just extremely fun. All we ask is for a donation. If you don't have the donation, that's okay. Let us take care of you because we're set up to be able to do that. When you talk about seniors, sometimes what I'm seeing is that our seniors are now taking care of their children and their grandchildren. So that means that their Social Security checks are having to last a lot longer. They're trying to stretch that out. The housing is so crazy that now they're moving in with their grandparents. So our jobs, our roles are going right back into parenting again and raising grandchildren because it's, housing is just not affordable. So we have to find ways to stretch those dollars. So we have food programs on Tuesdays here at 1:00 that we give food out, thanks to Feed Spokane, an amazing company here in town. And then on Thursday mornings at 10:00, we are passing out food as well. That is coming from Feed Spokane, more in the ways of sandwiches and salads, things like that, fruit. We're blessed. We're absolutely blessed with the support that we get, which I have to put a big kudos out to all of our sponsors who continually support us in our efforts here. We could not do the work that we do here if it wasn't for our care patrols, our compass cares, our Fairwoods, our Fairwinds. Oh my gosh, Park Place long-term care, Bright Star. Bright Star is going to start a foot program here at the end of the month. They're going to be our new clinic. So if you need to have your toe nails cut, your calluses looked at, we will have a couple of nurses out here through Bright Star, and we'll be closing that door with our old nurse and opening up a new opportunity with Bright Star, who you're going to fall in love with. And the owner of that is now the sponsor of our luncheons for birthday lunch, and they are making the cupcakes. So we're pretty excited to have Josh and his family come in. But you know what? We're at the end of our podcast, and I think that we should have some closing thoughts. So mine, please come out to Corbin, support what we do. Come and let me know who you are. Let me shake your hand and thank you, or let me just give you a big hug. I'm going to pass this over to Denise for her closing thoughts.
I'll try to be brief. My closing thought is that we have such great leadership here. Claudia has led us just beyond my wildest imaginations, and will continue to do so. She's going to be absent for a short time, but we are going to be thinking of her as she goes through her surgery and welcome her back. We have Brian at the helm, who is absolutely priceless. Everybody wants to adopt Brian. And anyway, I'm going to pass this on over.
I guess my closing thought would be simply to get anybody who has not been to Corbin yet, just get your foot in the door. Like I said, come on Monday or Tuesdays, have that $5 lunch. It's delicious. Stick around, hear about, experience firsthand some of the programs that we have, and just check us out.
All right. So again, this is where the cool kids play. Thank you, Spokane, for listening. Tune in next time. We're going to have a really neat group come in and talk about some of the services and how that relates to us as aging. Come on down. There's always a warm cup of coffee and a nice bowl of soup. Thank you, Spokane.
Bye-bye.